I had no idea you guys were so smart.
Yeah, we're really smart.
Multicam editing,
Yeah.
audio
really, really
synchronization.
Wow.
Brother.
And is that a real word or?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Good.
All right. Boy, am I parched. Anyways,
Me too.
let's go. Kevin, take it away.
Insinuating something?
I got a special.
Oh! What's this?
Ooh. Waterloo.
Refreshing Waterloo sparkling beverage.
Today's non-sponsor brought to you by Waterloo Cherry Limeade today,
Oh, wow.
which, fun fact, is what I have in my garage fridge at home, and I drank last night, and packed in my pail today.
Are they good?
Very good.
Oh yeah, they're super good.
They sound terrible.
Cheers to the 4th episode.
Cheers.
And our special guest today, Tom Holly.
I really appreciate
Can
you
you
guys
put one of
having
those
me.
talking, please? Yeah, do that.
Yeah, I definitely.
Tom Holly.
Yeah, so everybody knows Kai Guy, everybody knows Kev, but today,
Hardly anybody knows me.
the living legend.
Does everybody really know us, though?
They will
Anybody
now.
who's probably watching this.
Okay.
Well, I can vouch for them. I know these guys, and they are something else, let me tell you.
The living legend, the king of the creek, Todd Hollywood,
The king of the creek.
the pro golfer, Tom Holly. How are you, good sir?
Good, good.
Welcome to the Chum Bucket.
Thank you so much for having me. You have a beautiful place. Very nice setup down here. I
Yeah.
feel a little overwhelmed with all the technology lingo going around. I don't know. I feel like I'm behind the times, but you guys are really good at this. This is great.
Yeah, me and Kyle are expert iPhone
iPhone people.
people.
It's one of those things where we didn't put too much thought or care in the first couple. We just sat in the office and it was pretty bad looking. But now we're like, maybe we should
They look good now.
actually put a little effort into it
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
And everyone, I use the misery of the editing process to figure out what we need
What we need to do better the
to
next
make
time.
it less miserable when we get into it. So anyway, getting into it. Tom comes from lending,
Yep.
the dark side, the wild,
The worst
and wacky
side.
world.
To
of,
all my lender friends out there, I feel for you wholeheartedly and 100% because it is a hard gig lending. It's the unfun side of real estate is what I say. It can be.
lending.
Yeah.
I thought
For
I
the
thought
lender.
being a real estate agent was the unfun.
Yeah.
Well, you ain't
Well-
lend yet.
Is there any fun side?
I don't know. My curiosity is always the driving part for us. Like when we're representing buyers, we're all over the place.
Yeah.
Where I was like, lending sometimes sounds enticing just because you don't have that aspect.
Right.
But I'm sure that it's like, you're pretty glued, aren't you?
You're glued.
Yeah.
It didn't get to move, sat there, and
And that can be like the same.
you know how busy we are in real estate. Well, it's the same. It's the same there, if not even worse. I felt like I had much more clients at one time, and
Your phone going
Sad
off
to say.
24/7.
yeah. Well, then I could shut it off. When I went home. At
Oh,
night,
yeah. I remember when Tom was a-
after 5. I'm done. dog.
When Tom was a lender, he
that
had a
sounds
firewall
nice.
in front of him.
I had 2 to 3 scouts out there.
You could not get
Because
to
they
him.
would all day. I couldn't get nothing done. They would just call all day. If people want to know from whether what's the interest rate of something on my mortgage, you helped me 6 years ago. Okay, all this different stuff. So you get a wider range of questions rather than just say I want to buy a house or I'm thinking of selling. But the paperwork and the battles you go through. The real reason why I say lending is one of the harder ones is I don't feel like you get the what should I say the gratification or whatnot at the end, that you went through all these different hurdles and busted your ass hard for it, and then at the end it's, thanks. That way you got it done.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah,
We
you
got here. It's like, I had
just show up-
sleepless nights and all this
Yeah.
other shit,
You just show up to closing just to sign the mortgage.
Yeah.
That's
Sign
a
them
lot of. I mean, well, not necessarily from what you just said, but the ongoing can't turn it off 90% of the time is very relatable to being a realtor. I think.
Realtor is more of the time of that sense, 100%. Like lenders, I'm sure would argue that say no. If you're a commissioned real or lender or someone who's on their own with their own
Yeah.
broker, their own brokers, stuff, they're going to be more available as much as they can. But still, they work during those business hours for the most part. Not us. We take calls all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the difference between a mortgage lender and a banker a mortgage banker. There's a big difference there because mortgage lenders are probably more like us in the sense that they don't get to just go home either.
Yeah, if they're their own brokerage and they're not part of a bank. I worked at a
you're
bank,
not
so
salaried in or hourly in. You're not clocking in, clocking out.
they make a lot better money, but
Yeah.
there's
Which
there's a downfall.
Who, the lenders?
No, the brokers. No.
Mortgage broker.
There's ups and downs. You know, when I worked for a bank, I had, you know, all the benefits, you know, like
Well, you had a salary,
401ks and salaries and all that stuff. Yeah, but then, you know, you lend out $20 million in a year, and you know, you know, if I was a mortgage broker, you'd have made quite a substantial lot of money that year. You know,
Yeah.
I'd have way more than I made. But it's the security; you get paid the same all the time and whatnot. And then a lot of places are starting to incorporate little bonus situations or whatnot. I actually got them where I was at before to do that. You know, just a little bit for each month. Like, hey, if we close so much, give us a little, throw us a bone.
We won't say, but you were at a credit union.
Credit
when
union.
You did it right, you were like you clocked out. You didn't work on the weekend typically, or you
Correct.
did? Okay. Because that's what I thought, and that's the impression I've always had and have learned over time, is that another benefit with a mortgage broker is that a lot of these guys
they
are
clock
willing
in.
to, you know, take your call on a Saturday, on a Sunday, do whatever they got to do to make it work.
And we
whereas-
need that, do we not? I mean,
we do.
We
It's
show
a
houses on
big
Saturdays.
deal.
People make offers on Saturdays and haven't talked to a lender or whatnot. And if you want to be a good agent and give that your client an opportunity to win, you got to have a
Yeah.
lender.
And don't get me
Call
wrong,
it.
I've had good experiences with some
Oh, yeah,
credit
me too.
unions and banks.
100%.
But yeah, like, I mean, that's just a huge, initially getting into the process, I think that's a huge thing to factor in, is if you're working with a mortgage broker that you know is going to pick up the phone on a weekend, that can make or break a certain part of,
Right.
you know, getting a house under contract.
Well, it adds to your tool bag.
Well, yeah, and I think there's no right or wrong answer to it. No. I think the biggest thing for me on the front end as a fiduciary to my client is to help them understand the difference between mortgage lender, mortgage broker, and a mortgage banker, and just let them decide whatever aligns with whatever they're trying to
aligns
do.
with what they're doing. Yeah, majority of the clients I had wouldn't never have, when I was a lender, you know, or customers or whatever it was, you know, they didn't know anything other than the credit union. They come in and that was it and stuff, and that was great for them. That worked perfect. You know, they weren't trying to learn anything else, and they felt comfortable there. So I understand the benefit and value of that.
Yeah, and I think with the mortgage bankers, the bill pay is streamlined and stuff. If you're just going through your bank, for me, I prefer paid by performance. I like to refer my clients, and I like to take out mortgages myself with people who only get what they want, which is a paycheck. Right. If I get what I want, and the same for my clients. So that's what I tend to lean towards. But again, I've had clients that just. And the older demographic tend to like to just, no, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I just want to go to my bank.
No,
write the
I know
check.
George down the street, and he's handled my bank for 40 years.
Yep, and that's perfectly fine. That's just absolutely fine with me. But, you know, there's no right or wrong answer. It's all
Usually
about
those
literacy.
people are fine wait until Monday, you know, and in those situations
yeah.
it
Yeah,
says,
yeah.
hey, just so you know, if they accept an offer this weekend, you know, that's the one thing. I can get you with a lender now, and that's what I always say, and if they're fine, then I'm fine. That's as long as they're doing what they
I do hate to spin my clients. If I have a client that's working with a lender, and
never
that
wanna-
lender put in the work on the front
Yep.
end,
Right.
and did all that stuff, I really would hate to spin them.
I never do.
I would only ever do that if I absolutely had to serve my client.
I always say, like, if they're communicating with you at a high level, you're comfortable with them, you feel like they're doing a really good job, everything's going to be pretty competitive regardless. So, you know, run with it if it feels right. If you want a second opinion, I have, you know, a couple of really good recommendations, and if you want to take a look and see if there's any differences or benefits, then by all means, you know.
Go right ahead.
All right, yeah. So
You're not going to find a better agent than me, but I do have a ton of great lenders to work with.
Look at him come on here, and
yeah. I might not be
Go
the best,
Hey.
but there ain't none better.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, that's Tom Holly.
Thank you.
He came from the lending world. So, what else is in the news? Midland Dow game tonight.
Oh,
By the time anybody sees this video, it'll already be done.
we know nothing.
You guys super into high school basketball then?
no.
Oh.
But I did go to a basketball game of my nephew's last night, and I played basketball. I'm getting the itch. I think it's that time of year. You know how like when the season starts.
Yeah, you just mentioned playing the other day, and it made me
it was
think
really
of all
sad.
My days of meeting up and having fun playing.
Yeah, it was. Well, it was like that, except for a lot more jiggling in the belly area. Like it wasn't
more
the prettiest
arthritis
thing.
pain.
Yeah, icing the ankle.
Back surgeries.
Yeah.
Just joking.
30s hit hard, man.
Yeah, I'm almost out. You're out. Yeah. You're younger than me.
I'm almost out.
I'm the oldest. Am I the oldest?
How old are you?
29.
Put it out there.
39.
39. I'm
Just turned 39.
So we're about the same.
We're about the same. I know.
Kai Guy's the puppy.
Yeah. What are you, 26?
I turn 33 in February.
You look like a baby.
He's a puppy dog.
We got, for all these 30s guys here, we got a pretty good wealth of knowledge when it comes into the real estate thing. We've learned a lot of stuff in our few years.
Man.
A lot of years. You've been in here for a while.
Yeah, 11 years.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
you
wild.
being you, 7?
I'm in my 8th now.
8th. When did you start? What month?
2016, but it was at Zillow.
That's right.
Zillow says I'm 9 years in, which is cool.
Right.
But it's 8.
Zillow's always wrong.
I'm in my 8th right now.
Yeah, the classic.
One of those classic Zillows
just made
rounds it
something
even
up.
from the back.
They take their best guess. You got to give it to Zillow.
Yeah.
They use what they got. They just ain't got that human touch.
I imagine. What would you imagine Zillow would look like if it was if it was a person?
The devil. Just
really?
No.
Zillow
as a person,
Zillow,
it would be
I'm more
nerdy.
fond of
It would
Zillow
be
as of like the
computer
last
nerd.
couple of years here, just with. I think that they've gotten a little more accurate in certain areas. There's definitely certain areas of the market where you can't trust it, and
one of the things that I tell the people, not to cut you off, but it's the same thing. Zillow can be spot on. There ain't not Zillow's great. I really don't have a problem with it. It's just when it's out to the consumers to look at and represent, they don't know.
Yeah.
They're going, well,
It
what do they
makes
say
it
to you?
tough on
Zillow
us
says
when
my
we-
house is worth blank.
Yeah.
Well, Zillow can be wrong for the most part because all it does is what we do with our eyes. It takes in the
basic
demographics
information.
around there and pulls it in, but it's not looking and fine tooth combing. Well, this house
That's
is
a
in
really
much
good.
better
I've never
condition.
heard anybody say that.
I say it every
it's just,
time.
Zillow's just like us without eyes.
You have
That's
to-
perfect.
It is.
I mean, they can't. There's no way for them to take into
They can't take any
consideration
personal
of
judgment.
finishes
Yeah.
or what renovations. have
This
been done
house
or
right
anything
here
like
could
that.
be 2 blocks from this house, and I learned economic obsolescence from my man Kevin here. About where it's that big word.
You know it.
2 words.
Yeah.
And that could be different. From 1 block away, houses could sell for $50,000 less or whatnot. But they're looking, if it's square footage right now and within a circle, that's what they're using.
Yeah,
There
and
could be
that's why, and they do give you like a pretty broad range, but then they have like a
usually
median
higher.
amount of what they think the Zestimate is. However, I just recently had a situation where, based on what I saw, what I found, kind of took in what Zillow was showing into consideration, dug into my own comps, and then you get to the property, and there's still there's quite a bit of differences you didn't anticipate, and you're like, okay, I got to dial back my assessment now and kind of rethink this while I'm here.
And the other thing besides the eyes that it doesn't have is intuition, in the sense that like things change, because when we're pricing a house right now to come out, it's different. We go off the stats and things that have closed, or even a month ago. They're closing off of October sales and November sales, those closed numbers and things like that. But the market right now is not what it was when that house listed. But those are the, you have to understand the market too, where you're at. Like, it's wintertime. It's not as hot right now. It's definitely building up at a good pace right now. But, after January 1st, that's great. But that's normal for us.
Yeah, I actually did a in-depth video about Zestimates, and the thing about the Zestimates is generally what it starts with a zip code, and then overall amenities and square footage, and then the algorithm does whatever it does.
Homeboys really researched it.
I guess so.
I have.
My explanation of a human with no eyes, or whatever.
But that's the perfect way to put it, though.
You're going to make a video about it. You got to put in that extra research.
And so the main thing that I found is that it's not the same across the board, because just like us, just like you said, if we have lots of comps and data, we can get pretty damn close. I mean we can really hone in on it. If we don't, if we have a specialty property, I just listed a hobby farm in Coleman, and it's literally impossible. There's no other hobby farms that have sold. I just comped a very, very beautiful high-end house that basically, when these people bought it, was the last time anything like it had sold.
Yeah.
It's so hard. But in like metropolitan areas, so say Chicago, where they have thousands and thousands of sales, their margin of error is actually quite small.
They're probably spot on there.
Yeah.
But it's actually quite small. It was like under 3%. But in more
in Michigan, middle of the
right rural areas or non-metropolitan areas where there's less comps, it was up to 29%, almost 30%
average
margin of error.
Yeah, because there's bigger offices than that, but that's the the average of it or whatnot.
Yeah, so
for all of them.
That's just the way to say that if
computers will never take our job, they can't figure that out.
I don't know.
It's getting closer.
You ever use ChatGPT?
Yeah. Oh, Tom.
Show Tom.
Computers literally killed Tom 2 years ago. Boy, was he wrong.
Yeah.
What's that? They've been doing that with people online that are, calling the football and stuff like that. Then they show them all the commentators and stuff, and then they show them the next week. I don't know. It was like a little trend. Put his foot in your mouth or something.
Yeah. If
Whatever.
ChatGPT is a topic of discussion, I use it every single day.
What does GPT stand for? Can I ask you guys?
It stands
Geographic
for,
Potential Times.
I know what it means.
Great posture, Tom.
I literally don't know. I'll put it on the screen.
I think I might have read that like when it first came out.
No, I just can't think of it. It's some kind of strange thing that you wouldn't.
I'm glad that you guys don't know.
wouldn't
I have
even
If
no
we were
idea.
doing a live stream right now, there'd be people commenting.
GPT means blah blah blah. Oh yeah, everybody knows everything.
That watch live
Just
stream.
angry that we
You
couldn't
guys?
spit it out.
Yeah.
You don't even know what ChatGPT is? You shouldn't be on a podcast.
Just spewing venom all over anybody trying to do anything
Yeah.
cool. But yeah, anyway, I think Zillow would look like it would be like that nerdy guy that's kind of in your friend group, but also not really, and they always think that they're right, but like half the time.
yeah, right. Like you can't explain.
That's a
But sometimes
really
they
are.
solid
Yeah. You can't
interpretation.
explain to that friend that he's wrong and he'll ever believe it. Like he's just
Yeah.
gonna go on back.
Yeah, they'll just take
Obviously, I'm right.
really rigid stance.
Yeah.
I like to do that.
You don't invite that guy to like fun parties and stuff. He's more of like, he's like,
You might put him like on your fantasy football league, but
he's a Facebook friend. He's a once every few years. I see him at the reunions and stuff. He's okay.
maybe like a group chat friend, but not.
I think I
like,
beat him up back in high school. I can't remember.
Yeah,
Jeez.
that's something the King of the Creek would definitely do.
I gotta watch it.
Are you liking your Waterloo?
I do.
Sparkling beverage.
I will say I am not a fan of sparkling water. This one's really good.
I
Yeah, they
glurp
are
these
good.
things down every
They're
single
super
day.
good.
I sit in my hot tub at exactly 8:30 every
No
single night, and
artificial anything.
Do you know
including
you're old when you're like looking for these stats? The zero sugars, the good for you
Yeah.
and stuff.
I did a
It doesn't even have sucralose or anything. It's just good.
And I don't know if that's good, but it's got to be right. Sucralose.
Oh, Kyle
Sucralose is
don't
an
mess with
artificial
nothing.
sweetener. No, okay, so the ice sparkling water brand is my like downfall because
Those bottles.
they're so you
Yeah.
put those on ice literally, and those things taste damn good. But they use the artificial sweetener, so
Yep.
I try to.
My brother did that. He said
I
no,
limit
no
myself.
artificial sugar.
I did go on a little bit of a binge, and then my wife was like, "Dude, enough."
We can
Waterloo it up. And I'm
Big
like,
Tim
"You're
don't
right."
mess
She
around.
don't mess around.
With no seed oils, no
Tim?
artificial.
Oh, she's
Tim.
dairy free,
Oh.
gluten free,
Dude, if
soy
it's
free,
got
you
red
name it.
dye in it,
She don't
or
mess.
anything.
Yeah.
But
She's got that cooking background,
She's on
though.
a thyroid healing diet, and it's working well. It's actually quite incredible.
She used to
She
be,
looked really healthy.
She's very disciplined.
She's
She's a very beautiful
It's
woman.
extremely impressive. Yeah, you better start saying some nice things, or she'll be coming.
I love her.
Me too.
She used to literally pack Kyle waters in glass jars instead of. She wouldn't even let him drink water out of a plastic bottle.
We have at home. We have a bunch of glass
Kyle.
bottles, so we don't, really mess
Wow.
around with the microplastics.
Yeah, I will say that water in a glass jar it looks so refreshing.
Oh, yeah.
my gosh!
I love glass.
Condensating?
Yeah.
yeah.
Ice water
Ice
in a
cold?
big glass or a mason. You talking like a mason jar?
No, they're like
Yeah,
glass.
they're like glass
I like
bottles.
mason jars
Yeah,
with
you
ice
can
water
get
too, just because they're big.
Amazon or whatever.
And I love ice water. I love it.
Yeah.
Or a sparkling Waterloo's great.
I like
too.
ice
That's
water
refreshing.
better. This
Every
is,
now and again, I'll hit one of those sparkling, the black,
Oh,
the black
I saw you
cherry or
slurping
something. I'm
one
just
yesterday.
like, man, they're so
yeah, you
good.
slurp those things down pretty quick. So have you never? You guys had a hard time with drinking just water growing up and stuff. Just be honest with me, because like that's
I
why
used to drink hose water out of the sprinkler system.
Yeah, I didn't.
I
have a
would
problem
crawl
with
on
that.
the ground and just.
I noticed there's a lot.
I
of
did
kids
that,
now
but it was in Lee Township, and that's why I am the way I am. Don't put that on.
You don't want to know.
You don't want to drink out of
in the groundwater there.
Yeah. I'm a water guy, though. I remember during football, we'd have the water horses, like in high school. Just
water horse.
Yeah, they have a bunch of streams coming out from somewhere.
Well, they didn't have that in the creek.
Oh, really?
No, we just had horses.
It's just dehydrated.
Just horses would haul in water.
You just drink out of the actual drop.
There's studies that sleep deprivation and dehydration do cause brain damage. So.
Dehydration is a now that we're on the topic, let's talk about something serious here. Dehydration in the wintertime is a thing. Do you feel like there's like no humidity and all?
You mean
stuff?
Like why my hands are always dry and I gotta use lotion 18 times a day?
What's that called?
Eczema?
No, you have a Kyle name for it. Remember you roasted something.
Ampulitis?
Scroculosis.
Everything falls under the umbrella of impulitis.
Yeah, we had a hyperhidrosis phase
Hyperhidrosis, that's what I'm thinking about.
You're supposed to have that on airplane mode, bro. Dang, man. What do we got here? My watch is upside down.
We're 21 minutes in. My toes are freezing.
So are mine. We got to start wearing Hey Dudes down here.
I know. I got some slippers that the kids got.
I got some Hey Dude shoe boots that are one of the most comfortable pairs of shoes I've ever had, and they're great for winter because they're kind of
I want to take a stance here and say I feel like I might have started the Hey Dude revolution.
Really?
Yeah. You know, and I can't remember what it was, and I don't even know if they were Hey Dudes or what, but it's the same style. And Troy Sullivan, if you're listening to this, you will know he had a pair too, and he really liked them after I got them. But this was like 12, 15 years ago. Was Hey Dudes a big thing then?
No. They weren't around yet.
They didn't exist.
It wasn't the company. It was just the same exact style. Then Hey Dudes came out because it was becoming a trend.
You're talking about like iPath shoes?
I wore them up to
Something
a Memorial Day
similar to
weekend at Secord Lake, and then the world took on after that. The world saw it.
Okay.
Secord Lake.
Cool.
Todd Hollywood. He's a revolutionary.
Yeah.
Did you have an itinerary, or were you?
Not really, no. Actually, I kind of woke up this morning and I was like, oh,
I keep expecting you to like, because every time we do a podcast, you're like, okay, and moving on, like.
I was just gonna let her just take her where she went.
Do we have any topics that are needed to talk about?
I think the Lions game.
I was gonna ask about that. I already found out that you're watching it here, so I'm pretty good.
Are you coming?
Well, I was just found out last night. My son's watching it because I was the only person I was going to try to watch with, but he's watching it. His grandpa's stuff's going over to his mom's, so I'm a free agent right now. I don't know. I'm willing to take bids.
The Chum Bucket is.
I'm going to talk to a few different people who want me to show up.
That's tomorrow night.
Whoa, yeah, you're right.
What darts?
Tomorrow night is
tomorrow
the game.
night.
No, it ain't.
Yeah, it is.
It's Saturday night.
They're
That's
playing
right.
the Commanders, and they're going to take command.
You're darn right.
No, they're not.
The Lions are.
We'll take command of the Commanders.
You better. If the Lions lose, it's your fault now.
You can't bury what comes from the dirt.
That's
I will say it now, no matter how I feel. I'm so proud of our Lions, no matter what. But they got to go. They got to go. This is their shot.
This is it.
If we've ever had an opportunity to, we've watched in sadness. We were the bags over our head fans, you know. That's why I try to explain to my boy. I'm like, you know how I feel. He's watching them win and stuff. I was like, you know, my whole entire life, I've watched them lose and sad. You know, never play. I mean, like our formative years was the 0-16 and the, you know, I mean, I was watching the last time they were in the playoffs thing on the TV, you know, like it was this flash, it was like 91 and this, and then there's just a chunk of time from like 97 or 98 until Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
The Waterloos get you burpy.
Yeah, they do get you a little.
It's hard
burpy.
when you're on a kid podcast and you're trying not to.
Yeah, I was trying to hide them in the last one. I have not missed a Detroit Lions game in 24 years.
Wow.
I have never missed a single game in 24 years. So I have seen the worst of the worst. My family is of the people who deserve this.
Yes.
We never, even when we gave up knowing that they were never going to win, we never didn't watch.
I always rooted for them. I couldn't always watch every game. Like I knew, like even because of close ones, and they were just so notorious for fourth quarter.
How many
follies.
things have you smashed over the years?
In my younger days, man, I don't even want to know.
You guys are like that. You're like club throwers.
No, I don't.
No.
I think Kevin might have.
Yeah.
I can see Kevin.
I've thrown a few fits over the years,
tantrums.
and but I try not to do that.
No, you got a nice house.
Now, especially when you I don't know why. I always thought that when you get to this point of the year, because like last year, going into the playoffs, I was less stressed out. It's hard to explain.
Right.
I get more stress for regular season, like divisional regular season games, than I do for the playoffs. Like now that we're in the playoffs, it's just like I'm hoping for the best. I'm just
that's where I'm
really of the attitude where I'm just trying to enjoy the ride. I'm trying to teach this to my son too, because he gets freaking he's a 12 out of 10 all the time, and like last year when we blew the NFC Championship game with a 3-possession lead at halftime, like I would have thought that would have just ripped my heart out, and of course I was disappointed, but it just
second round
at the end of the game it was like, well, we got close. But this year I will say, man, there's just something about these boys, dude. There's something about these boys.
I love it. I love the camaraderie. I love the Dan Campbell. It takes me back. It's like
Sorry. Campbell's nuts in the wheelbarrow. That's
God, yeah.
That's the meme.
Dude, I will run face first through a...
Yeah.
There's nothing I wouldn't do for Dan Campbell. And you would think that like his like rhetoric would kind of like get old after a while. It doesn't.
He reminds me of my high school coach.
I live for post game speeches.
I know. I love it. He's just, why? And I think the biggest part about it is he's authentic, because a lot of these coaches you see, they all do the same look, the same thing, straight face, and everyone just kind of takes that role, and maybe they're awkward, don't know how to do it. He don't give a shit. Like, he's just in there being him and making it happen, and really, I think we could all take pointers from him, from like instilling confidence in his people. Like as a leader.
I was gonna say
he could do a good job of like,
just like us in real estate.
We
are going for it on 4th.
Oh yeah.
You remember Morning Musters?
The Morning.
I think I was just like Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
You sound
exactly. You were telling me you got to be a salivating dog chasing a meat truck, and I'm like.
They knock us down, you get up, you bite off escalation clause, you get back up, you bite off an appraisal contingency.
Yes, dude.
Escalation clause, no home inspection, $20,000 appraisal gap.
20 gap.
Hungry dog on the back of a meat truck.
You had to fight for him, dude. You got to fight. And some things you got to fight for.
Yeah.
And Dan Campbell knows that.
Yeah, I truly believe it. I believe he's going to get it done. I believe that we got healthier this week. I believe that, everything he says, I believe it, dude. And like, I was watching
He could be the best manipulator.
Yeah. Kevin's just on the couch like,
yes, yes,
Mr. Dan.
I'll wear my old Barry Sanders jersey. I'm like, put me in. I'll take him on right now.
He's got shoulder pads and a helmet. We come in during the playoffs, Kevin's just in there like, I'm ready. Oh, dang, Tom.
All right, set the tone. Okay.
Let's take a break.
Dude.
We flipped the mic around.
Is he still going?
Is she still going?
Am I okay? I'm so sorry.
I say, is there anything else we want to spit out before we pound these loose cheers and finish up?
Is that what we do at the end?
I think. Have we said enough?
Have any left?
Have we said enough?
I don't know.
I think so.
I really appreciate you guys having me. I think what you got here is really special, and being a part of it just,
Yeah.
It really solidifies our tripod,
Yeah.
I like being your special guest every so often.
He's a very special boy. He's not a specialist kite guy.
No.
But he's pretty special.
Kyle's special and sweet.
Yeah.
He's a sweetheart. Can you hear me anymore?
Yeah, I think so. I think we just had a little major malfunction as well.
Hello, Tom Holland here.
Todd Hollywood.
Todd Hollywood.
Here to make that lion roar.
Roar.
All right.
Joe.
I think we've said enough. 29 minutes. Cheers to the Waterloo.
Cheers to good friends and great real estate agents.
Yeah.
Well, and Kyle, too.
Yeah, and then there's Kyle.
Let's go sell some houses.
Oh, we were supposed to slam it? I can't even do that anymore.
I had a buyer consult today.
No, you didn't.
Did too.
Liar.
Zoom call.
I know. We had a good banter going. Kyle freaking bombs in. I had a good buyer consultation today, guys.
He just said I was sweet.
It wasn't even. It was.
So it was like I came in all innocent and let you guys know.
We like to attack you when you do that.
I know.
Because you're really breaking with the flow of things. Me and Kevin are.
Yeah, we had a good thing going on.
Making your mom jokes, and then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just got done eating Fruity Pebbles. That was the first decision I made in my day today. Was to eat Fruity Pebbles.
I mean, it's not
just
really
pure sugar right into my system.
Yeah,
with the marshmallows too, which I'm almost sure is just made of Owens Corning.
I've never heard of marshmallows and Fruity Pebbles. Did you add those?
I think they were made of like batten insulation. Just
dust fell.
Yeah, not just eating it. So anyway, we've said enough. Episode 4, Kai Guy, Todd Hollywood.
Cheers.
Cram Handler.
Till next time.
Waterloo. And we're out.
Stampton.